What's going on YouTube? This is Rybo at the bench, and today I have another head-to-head knife video. Today looking at the Benchmade Bugout versus the Spyderco Chaparall FRN. So these are two knives that are some of my favorite, like lightweight EDC options. Both of these are strong carries for me. And while there is a little bit of difference in the price, I think this is maybe like a 130, 125. This is like a $9,500 knife. You're paying Benchmade tax with this, and so with resale value, you can pick one of these up for around $100. So yes, there's a little bit of difference, but that's kind of the nature of Benchmade. But when I was thinking about these two knives, I was thinking, what are the two options that I tend to grab when I want something that's super, super lightweight? And these are those two knives. So I thought maybe it would be good to do kind of a head-to-head between Benchmade and Spyderco on two options that they give you for around $100 for super lightweight carry. I think both of these are right around 2 ounces. Clearly, the Bugout is bigger than the Chaparall, but I still think it's probably a good comparison. So you have similar materials in each. You have kind of this light plasticky, I forget what Benchmade calls it, but Spyderco's got their FRN. You have, what is this, S30V, I believe? Yeah, and you have CTS XHP. And you have a classic backlock versus the axis lock here. So with all of that said, here are the categories. So pocket clip scales, overall size, ergonomics, action detent, blades, steel, lock system, and intangibles. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to close both of these and talk very quickly about the pocket clip. So I love the pocket clip on both of these knives. If you've watched the channel before, you know that I'm a big fan of the wire clip that Spyderco does. I think it works really, really well. I don't tend to have really any issues with it like I do some of their other clips. But I'm also a really big fan of this Benchmade clip. I think this works really, really well, and I actually really like how small it is. It's a lot shorter, which some people don't like, but I find that it works very well. The tension is just right. It's got a lot of room under there, and I find that it works really, really well. These are very, very close. I think both pocket clips are fantastic. I'm going to give the slight edge to the Bugout here. I don't know if that's just because it's different, because I have so many Spyderco wire clips, but there's something about that clip that I just really, really like. The wire clip is never going to get old for me. I just really, really like it, but I'm going to give a slight edge to the Bugout there. Scales. So like I said before, both of these are somewhat similar, pretty similar feel and weight to them. With the Bugout, I've talked about before, very similar to the, what is that knife? It'll come to me, Griptilian. You have some texturing here, you have some flat spots where your hand is going to be. All in all, I think it works really, really well. Nothing too fancy. I don't necessarily love the way it looks, but I think it works very, very well. You have kind of this diamond pattern here. But with the Chaparall FRN, you get this honeycomb pattern, which I really love. I've kind of waffled before on if I like this or the classic bidirectional texturing, but I really, really love both the look and feel and just functionality of the Chaparall. I think that it's very, very grippy. You can get a really great handle on it, and I think it looks really, really fantastic. I wish that they would use this pattern on a lot of their other knives. So I give the edge to the Chaparall. All right, overall size. So I don't have a ruler here, but you can clearly tell that the Bugout is the bigger knife. So overall size, I typically will rank these, not necessarily like which one's bigger or smaller, but really just which one makes more efficient use of the space, which one do I like in terms of the weight, the way that it carries, the blade length, like everything in relation to everything else. Which one do I like? And for this is going to be a very easy win. for the Chaparral. So I've talked about this before, but the Chaparral is a very efficient knife. It makes use of every available millimeter of the knife to give you full comfort and grip, and giving you a great cutting edge here. So when I hold this knife, pretty much everything except for the blade is given to my hand to grip. When I hold the Bugout, while I think it is fairly comfortable, it's a little bit cramped. It is forcing your hand back here, so I am kind of, I don't know, there just seems to be some wasted space. And the knife seems to be, in a lot of ways, and in a weird way, both bigger and smaller than it should be. Like when I hold it, it feels smaller than I want it to be. I want it to be just a little bit bigger, but the knife in general is a lot longer than I think it needs to be, if that makes sense. And so from an efficiency standpoint, I think just what makes sense in the pocket, especially for a lightweight knife, I think the Chaparral does a lot better job than the Bugout. All right, next up, ergonomics. So again, I'm not going to really go into that beyond what I just said, but the Chaparral is just so ergonomic, and especially compared to the Bugout, I would take this 10 out of 10 times. You've got that nice finger choil there. You know, it's not the most ergonomic knife because it's fairly thin, but compared to the Bugout, it's definitely the one that I would gravitate towards. Let's see, the action or detent. This is the axis lock. It's not drop shutty. I have to kind of shake it shut. That's been kind of an issue I've had with Benchmade before, where I can't get it so that it drops shut and it doesn't have blade play. So it's kind of one or the other. And with this is just the classic Spyderco back lock, and it's you know, it's not drop shutty. It's kind of a slow roll open, which is fine. I really like that. Advantage to these, I would say, you get a little bit more action with the Bugout. It's a little bit, I don't know, more fun, which is kind of ridiculous, but I probably prefer the action on this. I mean, I'm a simple guy. I like the Sabenza because of the classic kind of slow roll open, and I like Spyderco backlocks a lot. So I don't have any issue with that, but there's something pretty cool about the axis lock there. So I guess I'll give it the advantage. Blade. So we have, we're not talking about the steel quite yet. We're talking about just the blade shape itself. You have kind of this leaf style blade from on the Chaparral, and then you have this kind of drop point with this nice swedge on the Bugout here. Nice kind of belly of this blade. Just a smooth slicer and all around great blade. And of course the Chaparral is a fantastic slicer, very, very thin stock, good grind, you know, the famous kind of Spyderco full flat grind. This one's really tough. Honestly, both of these blades are really fantastic. I think they both cut really, really well. In a weird way, I'm going to give the advantage, I think, to the Chaparral here, partially due to the blade and the fact I like the leaf style blade, the thin stock. I think everything can pretty much be said the same for the Bugout. The only difference is, for whatever reason, I think this knife supports the blade better than the Bugout does. This feels a little bit forward balanced, and for whatever reason, like that does tend to affect the sliciness and cutting action of the knife, where I feel like it's just better supported in this knife. So I think while both blades are excellent, I tend towards this one if I'm looking to cut something. So that's a little bit odd, but yeah, that's where I'll land on that one. Let's see, the steel. So we have S30V and CTS XHP. I really like XHP, but S30V is one of my favorite steels. I don't have the rust issues that I do, and obviously because it's a coated blade, but I have had a lot of rust issues with XHP as much as I like it. The S30V has been really fantastic, holds an edge very, very well, and I like it a lot. Lock system. So we have the axis lock and the back lock here. That's an easy choice for me. I'm going with the boring option, the Spyderco back lock. To me, it's a lot stronger. From what I've read, it's a lot less prone to wear down as the axis lock is. And I've just had so many issues where this lock system is so short. If you look at Both of these knives side by side, you see a lock system that extends only here versus one that extends really all the way here. And that is a functional difference, because what that means is you're more prone to having blade play, and it just feels less secure. It feels a little bit more off balance because you don't have the weight going all the way through. I don't trust this lock system nearly as much as I trust the classic back lock, and you have one that's all metal here, that's not plastic, which is really, really nice. And then the intangibles category. So at the end of the day, yeah, intangibles are going to the Chaparral. There's just something about it that's just so classic. It's so thin, it's so grippy. There's something about that honeycomb pattern that just is so grippy and nice. The Chaparral is a really fantastic knife. I really, really love it. The Bugout is as well, but as you can see here, the clear winner for me, at least, is the Chaparral. I don't plan these videos ahead of time. I don't pre-rank them or anything. I just kind of see what happens. Yeah, this definitely matches up with my experience so far. I think both of these knives are great, but I do find myself tending towards the Chaparral over the Bugout when I'm looking for a lightweight carry. I think in terms of specs, they're fairly similar. But I would go for the Chaparral all day, and it's the cheaper knife. So you have that going for you too. All right, hope you've enjoyed this head-to-head, and I will see you next time.